Hi everyone, I'm Bonnie Violet, trans femme, genderqueer, spiritual drag artist, digital chaplain.
And I'm Pacey, trans mask, non-binary, mental health and recovery advocate.
And welcome to Transjoy Boise, where every story, laugh, and act of joy is a stand for our community.
We uplift bold voices, share real experiences, and celebrate trans lives thriving.
Tune in, connect, and spread the joy, because trans joy is
Unstoppable.
unstoppable.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes. I'm loving that the weather is getting so much cooler.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
It's so nice. I love it.
It's a little cold in the morning
Mm-hmm.
at like 50 or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't have the AC on for the first half of the drive here.
Oh yeah.
In the car, yeah, it was nice.
It's only been getting a little hot in the afternoon for like maybe an hour now, almost even just into the early evening is when it seems too hot in here without the AC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm ready for hoodies and beanies. It's my favorite.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my favorite thing about fall is layers. Is getting to wear layers. I tend to wear layers anyway, but like
and just suffer through it.
Yes, yeah. You could have much more. Yeah.
So it's been a week.
It has.
While we were recording last week, after we recorded, I checked my phone and I saw that Charlie Kirk had been shot.
Yeah, well, didn't we see that he was shot before we started? And then we learned that he had died after we were done.
Yeah, because I was in the parking lot ready to leave when I saw that he had died.
Yeah.
And everything has gone crazy since then.
Yeah. Yeah, and you kind of called it from the get.
Yeah.
Like you were like, I think you were immediately got on because I remember I was like, oh, he died, like because I just thought he got shot or whatever, and you're like, yeah, I'm filming something right now or whatever, and so, and you definitely predicted that they were gonna blame trans people and all this sort of stuff was gonna go down, and it did.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster with it. If you've been following it, which I'm sure if you're, watching or listening to this, you are. It's kind of unavoidable.
Yeah.
It was such a he was such a patsy at first because they're like, oh, he left his gun and the bullets had trans messages inscribed on them.
Right.
And then later they're like, oh no, it was just the stamp of the manufacturer of the bullets that says TRN. And they're like, that's clearly doesn't mean
trans revolutionary network.
Exactly. Idiots. And
but then there was inscriptions, but they were more like meme language specific to the far right.
They're groypers.
Yeah,
that stupid fucking meme and all. And these people follow Nick Fuentes. If you remember him, he was the one that said, "Your body, my choice," and then he had to go into hiding and all of this shit. But I guess he's way more extreme. And the shooter, Tyler Robinson, followed him and thought that Charlie Kirk wasn't extreme enough, which is unbelievable if you look back on some of Kirk's quotes to think that he wasn't extreme enough. And even it's to the point where Nick Fuentes knows that it was one of his followers. So he's gone on record to say, to my followers, if you do this, if you choose violence in this manner, I will disavow you. So
oh wow.
Yeah. So he knows. So they know, but they're still blaming it on us.
Right. Yeah. When you started this conversation, it was about you can't avoid. Part of me was didn't want to talk about it today.
Yeah.
Partially, I mean, it's been a week almost, so it feels like it was a long time ago. But just I've had some challenges with it just taking up so much space in our life. I was actually, but also. Because it was funny, I found myself thinking I don't want to talk about it on the podcast today. I know Preston's going to want to talk about it. I know it's going to need to be talked about. My partner was like, "That's low hanging fruit," and I'm like, but it's disrupting my community, And I've been kind of having this attitude of I was talking with my aunt, and she's conservative Christian, and very great support for me. And Charlie Kirk came up, and. It did get a little dicey.
Really?
Yeah, it just got a little bit. Obviously, I don't think she'd really thought through it all that much. And I also was just I almost didn't even talk to her that day just because I wasn't in the greatest headspace. And so she started to say like just the things that, like like he was such a nice young man or whatever, and I'm just like, really, like, and I'm not, and it's hard because then it goes into this like debate about, like who should live, who should die, he deserved to die, he was horrible, but did he there's all that sort of stuff that kind of goes back and forth. And she was just like, oh well, I don't understand how that impacts in your community or why. Like she's like, she kind of just talked about like, I don't even think anything of it, and that's like the privilege of it all, right? She doesn't have to think about how it's going to impact different people. And she didn't understand that. And I told her, I don't know that I've been personally disrupted by it, but it has impacted my community. And because it's impacted my community and I've seen people respond in ways, then it does affect me.
Absolutely.
And it has to be something that I talk about, and it has to be something that, that, I can't. And then I found myself wanting to like not talk about it today. And I was just like, oh,
yeah, I get it. I'm sick of talking about it. I'm sick of seeing it everywhere I look. But as far as it being like low-hanging fruit, I just don't think that's the case here.
That's minimizing it.
Yeah, because everything, I've been monitoring internet chatter on this all week, and what I've been seeing is it doesn't matter what the truth is. It doesn't matter that it was some right-wing troll that committed this assassination. Really, what the right is seeing is this is a call to arms, and they're looking at this as the incident that is causing a war. Like that's what they think, and we're already seeing how this affects our community in a day-to-day basis. Like the way that people interact with us, the fear, the newfound fear that people have when it comes to going into public and things like that. And just the fact that like we've had like 3 vigils in our town for Charlie Kirk, and a major fight ensued that was like broke nationwide, right? That went very viral. And I think that it's undeniable that a major shift happened last week.
Yeah. And
what I'm trying to do is figure out how to navigate what life is going to be like moving forward.
Yeah. No, I feel that too. And like, also, I think some of the things that have been coming up for me too, not to mitigate it, but also just to, I think, compound it and think about it, is that, we've also, like, at the same time, there was a school shooting, right? At the same time, and we hear much less of that than we do about Charlie Kirk. They've now found a couple of Black men that were hung on trees recently. I've just started seeing some information come out about now that could have been out in other algorithms before I got to it. So I haven't got a chance to research it that much. And then there was like a mother that was deported or in the process and died that, ICE had picked up. And so I just feel like there's so many parts of our community that are like communities that are being impacted in really big ways. And I think depending on what algorithm you're in, you're going to hear more of one or the other, which is really, but I think the thing is, it's across a lot of the algorithms, if you will, right now.
I think this is a tipping point. This incident was a tipping point for a lot of, like, it's kind of like the intersection of a lot of different things, because the people that are up in arms about this are the same people that are in ICE, the same people that are racist and,
I mean, Charlie was racist and all that sort of stuff too.
Yeah. And there's a difference between, like, we're not saying that he deserved to die. Certainly not. We're not saying that at all. But there is a difference in, just because someone dies, it doesn't change the way they lived.
Yeah, and I think part of it is, and it's not like I don't think anyone deserves to die for much, really. But I think part of the things to be thinking about is even like a caution or whatever. It's just like, when you are a violent person, violence going to come back at you. And it might not always be in the form that you sent it out in. So, I mean, I don't think it's crazy to say that his words and his movement was violent. And it was very discriminatory and anti a lot of people. I would like to think that even people that are more on the conservative side could see and understand that. I don't think they do, but so it's like just because your words might, like somebody might, like you might be in a word fight, right? Because that's a lot of, I think, what Charlie Kirk was. Let's talk shit and let's try to outsmart the other or outtalk the other. And I think that's a battle, but you never know who's gonna, like, what's that, like, bring a gun to a knife fight, or you know what I mean? And so it doesn't mean it should happen, but I think it's something that we should be mindful of when we and I think it's something that we have to think about when we talk about these things, or we don't talk about these things, right?
Exactly.
I know we've talked about having to do some stuff to potentially, you know, create some protections for us online, for like doxing. You know, there was a drag artist locally that was, you know, threatened pretty bad, and ended up choosing not to perform in a drag show that they were performing in. And then I don't know if you know this, but there was like an all trans show this week at the Balcony, Vixen, that Frida Knights does. Well, the Balcony actually really took it seriously, and they escorted all the girls from the bar to their cars.
Oh, good.
Like they walked them all and got them in their cars.
That's good.
Whether they were in the garage or they were somewhere else, they got them to their cars, which I'm like, they probably should do that every time. But it was cool. I thought it was kind of surprisingly.
Yeah. I have walked Frida to her car when I used to work security, but
that wasn't a regular thing.
No, and it's good that the Balcony's doing that. I wonder if they're still allowing certain bullshit to go into the bar in the first place.
I know they have their own issues.
Yeah, but no, that is great. I went to one of the vigils for Charlie Kirk. I tried to blend in.
I
tried to blend, and I was like explaining this to someone. I was like, I was trying to blend in, like being like super gay about it, but
you like drove a big white truck. And like
I just wore like a baggy hoodie and pants, just like kind of like, I don't know, cargo pants, I guess. And I just watched it sort of from across the street, and the thing that I got from it, this was not the one.
Was it at the Capitol too? Or
and it wasn't the one where the fight broke out, but it was really organized, and everyone that spoke it was all men, and they were all, I believe, like leaders in churches, and it was just a giant sermon and lots of like church songs and stuff. And the feeling that I kind of get from this is that I feel like a lot of people who are deeply religious feel like this is an attack on their religion and not an attack on the things that he was saying, but more on like the fact that he was a religious person. And I feel like there aren't a ton of like really outspoken, widely accepted religious people who are decent, right? But just not even just that, but just in general. And they latched onto this guy as like, oh, here's this young kid. He's extremely devout. He's spreading the gospel. And now he's been killed for his beliefs. It's how it would be difficult not to take that personally as a Christian.
Right. Well, and a lot of the narrative that's spun within the Christian nationalists and kind of very conservative Christian is that they are under attack, that they are an oppressed community, that they're a minority, that they're all these sorts of things. And it's just like, and I think the thing that they don't understand is that like the rest of us are on defense of what they're doing. Like we're not trying to really go against them. They're coming at us. So it's like for them to feel like we're attacking them or whatever. No, we're actually just like protecting ourselves. We're just defending ourselves, right? We're just fighting back, if you will. We're not the ones that are like causing the fight.
And that I don't think would be understood or receptive.
No, it's not. And a lot of folks then they see us, they say the same thing about us. You're not under attack, like whatever. It's just like, it's just so back and forth. And obviously it's something like we were I was also last week, we're talking about faith communities and things like that.
Mhm.
You got in on this too, but I was at an interfaith summit
Mhm.
here in Boise with a lot of local interfaith groups and some like other like heads of orgs and stuff. It was kind of an interesting mix, mostly like religious people though, like clergy, those sorts of things. And there was a little bit of talk about this, but they were putting together, because they are pastors and clergy who do speak up against this sort of like Christian nationalism and this sort of whatever, but like you said, for whatever reason they don't seem to have that same weight. I don't know, I guess it does seem like if there's some sort of like, I do feel like this comes into like this ideology battle or almost even like this Christian fight. And so for me, like I was kind of pondering a little bit. I wrote this like this thing like is I'll pray even for the gunman. But it was this idea that like, I think I was trying to speak to this idea. If your answer is thoughts and prayers, think about who your thoughts and prayers are directed to.
Yeah.
And why. And those sorts of things. And so I think that's definitely, I think, a part of the conversation. I know that we got invited to give some feedback on a letter that the interfaith community was kind of putting out in the public. What was your thought about that, or even just being like, I don't know, what were your thoughts about it? Like when you got the text message or?
I'm still at a point where if I receive something from anything religious, I tense up and I'm just like, why? But I really trust the person that sent it. Someone who I think is one of the best, most active and efficient allies in our community, period. So
who happens to be a reverend,
but so,
I don't think that's a happens for them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's an accident, if you will.
Right. Yeah. No. So I think that they're wonderful. So, but I'm also like, I'm very spiritual. I'm just not religious, but I am very spiritual, and I do understand like the need for religion just from like a psychological standpoint. And the letter was beautifully written. I think that I struggled. There was a paragraph in there that was saying to I guess also to have empathy for the shooter. And I think my issue with that was like, I would have a really hard time feeling empathy for like a school shooter or like the last mass shooter that went to the church and shot children. It's like, I'm going to think that person's a fucking scumbag.
Yeah, but I have a hard time labeling those people monsters. Like for me, I think about it as like there's a bigger societal issue. To me, I see it as like a society, like it's a manifestation of the way that our society is now. If you look at kind of the trends of how people are killed, from mass shootings to serial killings to whatever, there's always been mass killings, and there's still serial killers, but there are certain times in certain decades that some, I guess, ways of killing people are more on the trend, if you will. And I really think that speaks to a more societal issue and how society kind of breeds those sorts of things. And it's not to negate, because I think it is difficult, because it's not to negate, because not everyone is shooting everyone up. Like we're all living in the same world. So what is it that these individuals, what is it that's created in them that I feel like is beyond them a little bit? Like it's more than I can understand. And I think for me, that's like the biggest thing. It's just like, if we live in a world in which people kill one another, and if you're a person of prayer, I'm like, you have to pray for both sides and everything in between, because you have to be pretty not in the right frame of mind to harm somebody like that.
I think that
like even little harms, there sometimes has to be a little bit of blindness. So to actually, I think, kill someone, take a big blindness, right? And that's usually created by like trauma or
mental illness,
a lot of different things, right?
And
so that doesn't make somebody a monster. I mean, right? I mean, I don't know.
I think we all have it in us as human beings, as Homo sapiens. We all have this,
you said homo.
Yes. We all have this violence within us. And we enter a social contract where we are protected by the government or whatever, by police. And in exchange for that, we give up our right to harm other people because we inherently are capable of that.
And we expect everyone else to not harm us.
Exactly. That's part of this contract that we're in. Yeah. And I think that the main talking point that we need to be addressing is mental illness. And the thing that pisses me off is all of these right wingers are saying like, oh, it's the mental illness because like someone's trans. They think that that's a mental illness.
Right.
But no, I do agree with you that they're not monsters. They're horrifically mentally ill, but I still really struggle with feeling empathy for someone who neglects to take care of their mental illness or just decides to, I don't know, kill children. But see, I'm not a person of prayer.
Yeah.
So I don't have to pray for both people.
I'm not really either. That was kind of more of like my criticism toward that thought. But it's also like kind of where I land. It's just like, I mean, I don't know what it's like to be a violent person. I've never physically hit somebody. I've been punched, you know, like I couldn't imagine ever killing somebody else. So that doesn't feel like that's something within me, but maybe it could develop or I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, so I think part of it is just, I don't know if empathy is the right word because I don't think I can empathize with a murderer, whatever the reason, just like I can't empathize with somebody who is so vehemently against who I am as a person. Like I can't have empathy for that. I don't understand it, but I do feel like something's got to be going on in them that is not going on in me. And that I kind of have some sort of, I guess I guess I'm trying not to have a judgment around it. Like why them and not me, or you know what I mean? Like totally. I feel like I do a lot to not be that girl, but like also like I don't know if empathy or sympathy or more curiosity, which to me for like spiritual aspects, and I think there's an amount of mystery, an amount of like that we don't understand, and so for me the idea of like kind of giving it up to something bigger is this idea that there's more going on than what I can understand, and to kind of create space for that and not villainize one side or the other, I guess, which is hard because there are horrible things like beyond somebody shooting Charlie, which is not great, but there are horrible things that happen to people all the time. They don't always end in death.
Yeah.
And I don't understand that either, but, and it can be harder to have compassion for those individuals, but I think my higher self, my better self could find room. If that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's a dicey thing to say right now, but it's just kind of how I feel.
Yeah. And taking, you know, being able to remove yourself from everything that's going on, all the circumstance, and being like enough removed from it that you could be like, I understand.
Yeah, there's a level of,
And I think about that sometimes, like, what are the odds that all of us manage to be born at the same time out of like the infinite expanse of time and space, right? We're all here at this time. The odds are fucking infinitesimal, and we're wasting this time arguing with each other, and it makes me mad. But then, so from that area, I can look and be like, hey, we're all just people.
And be frustrated with even just people.
Exactly.
Like, can we get over this already? Can we be on the other side of this?
Exactly. Yeah. And even from that stance, like if I were to speak to someone, just a random person, they could have wildly different beliefs than me, but we would be able to find some common ground somewhere. It could be like, oh, you watch football, I watch football. We could have a conversation about that. And then we could talk about more things about like where we think the tax dollars should go. And there would be some common ground. It isn't until labels are brought into it that they're like, oh wait, you're this, I'm supposed to not like
but we
you.
all kind of have red lines. That was
Mhm.
something that came up often in the interfaith conversation. It was like,
Yeah.
okay, we can work with these people that are vastly different to us, but at what point can we say, no, I
Mhm.
can't work with you, or no, I can't be associated with that?
Yeah.
And part of that is like we all have our own different red lines,
Mhm.
and I think that makes sense for us to have them. So I don't know. I don't know. I think ultimately I want to be a part of making the world a better place for more people, for more people to have a better experience.
Yeah.
Because so few people, I think, get to have a great experience.
Yeah. And I mean, that's all I want too. It just feels like it is becoming increasingly difficult to even believe that that's possible.
I'd like to think that it's hard because I am a part of a community now in which it is undeniable. Like I am undeniably under attack in ways that I've never experienced, I think, in my own life. And so there's a part of me that thinks like, this is the worst it's ever been. And because of that, there's going to be this big shift. But I'm like, there have been communities of people, and our community has been one of those communities, but there have been other communities, and there are other communities that are experiencing the same thing and have experienced the same thing, and maybe even worse to some degree. Not that we get into some oppression, like pissing contests or anything, but like, so I don't know. There's a part of me that, but I don't know. That's the, to me, I feel like that's the ultimate goal of humanity, is to gradually, we're becoming the people, we're becoming the adults that we needed.
Yeah.
And, that's going to happen to the kids, the people younger than us, and so on and so forth. And we're already like our parents, were the parents that they needed. You know what I mean? Like, so my hope is that's, at some point we'd get to a point that we all would be pansexual and trans. Oh, wait. That's not our agenda.
Damn it.
I know, right? No,
the trans agenda.
I mean, I just feel like that whole idea is like there's no labels. Like even being trans or pansexual would not be a thing.
Yeah.
Because gender, sexuality, all those sorts of things wouldn't really matter.
Exactly.
Because we all would just be.
There's a quote that I saw that I really like, and I don't remember it verbatim, but it was something just like, I want the world to be a kind place, so I will be kind. And I think that, for me, there's a lot of this bullshit from my past where I'm like, oh, but people weren't nice to me. It's like, but I'm working on that because that's such bullshit. But it's like, even if kindness wasn't shown to me, I want the world to be kind, so I will be kind. And maybe I want to give the kindness that I never got. And I think that helps me in moments where I am so upset and I'm so frustrated and so defeated by the things that are going on, that it's like I can still be kind because I'm deciding to be.
Yeah, and to some degree, it's because we've had the privilege to heal, and we've had the privilege to be in a spot in which we can get on the other side of some of that stuff, so we can be like, quote unquote, the better person, and not necessarily the better than the other person, but better for ourselves.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And but I do think there's a level of like privilege and age and time that kind of, I think, comes with that. I hope that we all get that opportunity.
Yeah, me too. It's just such a stressful time right now. I think regardless of the things that we want and the goals that we have and the expectations that we have, things are decidedly more dangerous now. Like, I feel like it's embodied by these two tweets by fucking Nancy Mace. When they thought that the shooter was trans, she tweeted, "Bring back the death penalty." And as soon as they found out that it was this white kid who had a former law enforcement Mormon father, she changed it to, well, Charlie would want us to pray for this lost soul, so I'm going to do my... And it's like, okay, so what the fuck was the difference there? We know what the difference was.
Yeah.
And I think that everyone needs to be a lot more careful. And even like the content that I post, I took a bunch of screenshots of hateful like threats that people had been making. and I posted it on my Instagram, but I blacked out their names because these people are local to us.
Right, yeah.
And we've gone through like cyber like safety meetings and trainings, and they say to not like really attack anyone because that's just going to make yourself a target. So I blacked this stuff out, and then a bunch of people who follow my Instagram account attacked me for it, and they're like, why are you trying to protect these people? And I'm like, I don't see you like putting yourself out there and doing anything. Like you have like a private account. Fuck you.
Yeah.
And that was like sort of my breaking point this week, where I felt like we do so much, we put ourselves at risk, and then people thought that I was like defending these bigots.
Right. Instead of kind of asking, what is your thought behind that? Or assuming that you have some thoughts behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it takes some effort to do that.
I was so fucking irritated.
So, yeah. Well, why did you chose to do that for your own safety?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah. But also out of respect, like, which might sound fucked up.
Respect for
everyone's privacy. I think that, you know, I wouldn't want someone taking a screenshot of something I say on like a friend's page and then posting it on their like alt-right page. I don't think that
so
that's
these
fair.
Were these negative comments then people within our community?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well then, I definitely think that makes a lot of sense, you know, because it's really more about bringing in the conversation. These things are being said.
Yeah.
These things are being said amongst us, regardless of who's saying it. It's just understanding that this is what's the makeup of our community.
And I think there's so much infighting all the time. And I think that, you know, I understand it to an extent where it's like we're all anxious and we have all of this anxious energy and we don't know what to do with it. So we might just like lash out at each other because we're afraid. But it's like, that's not going to solve a fucking thing.
Yeah.
And I think that that's been a hindrance for our community for a very long time.
In a lot of communities, you see that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see that within like the far right or the left, or, you know, you can see that there's divisions and breakups, you know, in any group.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's kind of part of the process.
Yeah.
To some degree, I think. For better or for worse.
Yeah. Tensions are high. We're all upset. And the way that manifests for everyone is different.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, it's so wild because, you know, we're all just living our lives anyway. I don't know about you, but like I've been more like trying to figure out how to balance time with my mother, trying to work a job so I can make enough money. I'm planning on moving in with my partner, and so like there's a lot of just like I wasn't feeling well. You know, there's like a lot of just different things that are happening, and I think to some degree my idea of like not wanting to talk about the Charlie Kirk thing was just like, I'd rather put my energy somewhere else.
100%.
And yet, we can't ignore it. And I think especially for us, in the positions that we're in and how we are and what we are trying to do for our community, it's important that we're talking about it.
100%.
And even if we're saying like, I don't want to fucking talk about it.
Like, because like that's what everyone is saying.
Exactly. You're like, okay, it's over. Like, it sucks. It's whatever. It's not complicated. It's complicated. It's whatever. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
But that's relatable. Yeah.
It's, you know, just because we put on events and we're sort of like a news source for some folks.
Well, we've really been trying to help people deal with some of this stuff. I mean, my ultimate goal is I don't want our community to feel isolated. Yeah. Because when we're alone, when anyone feels like they're alone, when anyone is isolated, that's when we die.
Exactly.
We don't always die in our body, but we definitely begin to die in our minds and our spirits, and that can very easily lead to our bodies as well. And I just, you know, I think a part of what I like to do is to really help people get life and to live their lives fuller, and to combat isolation. And when these sorts of things happen, they make you just want to hide from the world
or escape it,
which
is just as detrimental.
Yeah. Well, and there's a level of like kind of going in and out of that, right? Because there's a little bit of escapism that we all do. Right. There's a little bit of avoidance that we all do. We just can't get stuck in that place for too long.
I agree. I've been posting the link for the Trevor Project lately.
Mhm.
I think that there might have been some confusion about if it was still up and running. It is. What they did remove was the LGBTQ portion of 988.
Mhm.
So,
Because of government
because
bullshit.
of the fucking administration. But the Trevor Project is very much still up and running. So if you feel like you're in crisis, if you're
or
struggling,
the trans lifeline too, right?
yeah, the trans
Yeah.
lifeline. So please reach out to those. Reach out to us.
Just reach out to anyone.
Reach out to anyone, because I'm concerned with suicide and
Mhm.
relapse.
Yeah. And there's an element to like reach out to someone, and then I think there are also times when we do need like professionals.
Absolutely.
But at a minimum, like talk to somebody.
Mhm.
They can help you, and talk to
Mhm.
somebody who you think can help you.
Mhm.
And if it's not that them directly can help you, they can connect you to where you can get the help that you need. And
Sometimes people just need to not be alone.
yeah, like come to the social support group on Thursday night.
Mhm.
There's a lot of other trans groups and non-trans groups or queer groups or whatever that, just those sorts of things can be really good for us, especially if it's something you can commit to, or like your friends to, or even like, gym buddies and stuff. You know what I mean? You have like accountability buddies or those sorts of things, and you do it even when you're feeling good, so that when things aren't good, you have like, you're already in that habit, and you have the people around you are like, hey, where's so-and-so? Like, I haven't seen her in a while. Have you talked to her? And then people can check in on us, I don't know. It's just, it really breaks my heart to think. And I'm just really grateful that I'm not in that place anymore.
Yeah, me too.
Because I used to be.
Oh yeah, for a long time.
And not that long ago.
Not that long
ago.
Yeah. Yeah, same. The only thing that changed it was ketamine. Honestly.
Yeah. I think the march and transjoyboise and creating chosen family and having purpose and passion. A lot of different things.
Community. It's helpful. I mean, I'm not used to it. I'm not used to having community. I'm used to being completely isolated all the time with just like my partner or maybe like one friend. But it's been really nice to be pushing myself out of my comfort zone and being around other people.
And it gets to where it's like, it's effortless. You just kind of gel with it. I mean, there's always some sort of effort, but it gets to where it's just becomes your nature, just becomes what's normal and natural. And the anxieties, the fears, all that sort of stuff just start to fade away in time.
Exactly.
In those ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was...
We did that.
Good to talk about it so we don't have to talk about it next week.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, this whole thing is unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
So... All
right. Well, thanks everyone for listening to us chit and chat.
And process it ourselves.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, please feel free to let us know what you think or what you're going through or not. We'll try to. I'm thinking we we've had that letter. You have some of your social media stuff on it. I wrote like a little something. Maybe we can try to put links to that.
Yeah.
Underneath the video and stuff, so that people want to if you kind of want to fuck with it a little bit more.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because I think some of us would probably do well too.
Yeah, I agree. We could do that.
Yeah. All right.
See you next week.